Alright, Terrace are here with another analysis of KT Arrows versus Samsung Blue. This is game 2, and this is, I feel like, a second really important fight where KT Arrows is they're even right now, but they get kind of ahead, but they're too chunked from the fight to continue on and take the Baron. But KT Arrows right now is just looking to clear out Baron before they start this fight, and let's let this fight roll before we analyze it.
And then what will they do with this vision control? All right, coming in, they lock up Deft. Cacao over the wall. Deft very low, nice tidal wave. Still doesn't save Deft, but it was a good try. Meanwhile, KT coming in to try to do even more damage to Johnny, a little bit low. Cacao has to back off for a moment, but Arrow doing so much damage from the side. They claim 2 kills, and now...
Alright, let's go back and analyze this fight. First, let me open up the items. Here we go. And alright, so Mundo is the tank for Samsung Blue, but during the whole fight he's going to be zoned, so his tank stats don't really matter. And he's going to try to do some AoE damage with the Sunfire and just Mundo's W. Dade has his Zanyas, and this is a really big power spike, his Zanyas and his Rose. His Zanyas is really core to this fight because it's going to allow him to live when like 5 people are focusing him and allow him to flash and all out. Kama gets a lot of damage off with his Blade of the Ruined King and Trinity Force and his pickaxe. Like, all these items are just allowing him to do a massive amount of damage, a lot more damage than Corki's going to be doing in the fight. And I'm pretty sure the Crucible is up for Heart during the fight, and I think he does get it off, which allows Deft to do as much damage as he can and live for a little longer. Spirit is non-existent in this fight, so this fight was basically a 3v5, and KT Arrows came out that low, so that's a kind of a testament to Samsung Blue's team fighting abilities, because Spirit does nothing but flash forward and get a cocoon onto someday when he jumps in onto Deft, but it's still not enough, and Spirit right now is a pretty supportive kind of tanky build. And then we have Rise, who is pretty tanky between his Seraph's Embrace, Rod of Ages stacks, Merc Treads, and Banshee Veil, so it allows him to go in the middle of everything and tank all the magic damage that's present from Samsung Blue. So like, this whole team is magic damage versus this whole team, which is a lot of AD and slight magic damage. A lot of the magic damage is AoE because of Rise ultimate and Zillion Bombs, even though Zillion Bombs don't do that much from coming from a support Zillion. You have Cacao, who gets a good chunk onto oh god, he gets a good chunk onto Deft when Deft is mispositioned, but Cacao does get exhausted by Heart, which is very good. And Corki doesn't really do much the whole fight. He launches some rockets and he gets some autos off, and Dade ends up like zoning one of Corki's Qs. And Hachani just gets like bursted and he gets an ult off, but what's also really important by Hachani is that he kind of takes some of the damage that was meant for other people, and he also gets an ignite off in the middle of the fight. So the real like core items that are important are going to be Dade's Zonias and the cleaver for someday, because this cleaver is going to allow him to shred the armor on the whole Samsung Blue backline. It's going to discourage him from wanting to go in, and it's also give Cacao an easier time, even through his exhaust, to damage people like Deft. So as we get into the fight,
A little...
oops, let me turn off the volume. They're posturing back and forth. Dade's looking for a pick. Oh, whoops. Let me go to the beginning. There we go. This is the beginning of the fight. They clear out vision. Heart's looking to clear out vision. Rookie gets sped up by Achani. Goes forward, and there we go. This is the first part of the fight. So Rookie comes in this way. Cacao's gonna look to jump over here. Deft gets rooted by Rise, so he has to end up flashing over to this bush, where in this bush there's a pink ward. So if Cacao does end up flashing or jumping over again through some like miraculous way, or somehow he gets into this bush where Deft is, Samsung Blue will be able to see Cacao through his ultimate, and Acor's gonna go over here to the side of this wall and prepare to flash and kind of throw cleaves and pop Banshee Veils. So let this fight roll on. Kakao jumps in. He gets a chunk onto Deft. Dade's moving up this way. Somedays moving over here. Acorn's moving, trying to get into the middle of the blue buff spawn. He gets exhausted, and Deft instantly flashes backwards. So he's in the bush right now. Someday flashes forward. He gets a two-man stun onto Heart and onto Deft, and he's gonna kill Deft. Dade's gonna go forward. He's gonna kind of posture back and forth, but he's gonna go forward and pretty much try to chunk Kakao. Acorn's gonna continue move over into the blue buff pit. We have Spirit coming from the bot lane, or not from the bot lane, from the bottom of the fight, and he's in the mid lane. He's gonna flash over and get a stun onto Someday after he goes onto the back line of Samsung Blue. As the fight continues, that was really nice. Well played by Heart. Heart gets a 3-man knock up with his Nami ult. Dada gets a force pulse onto the whole KT arrows to try to slow him down. Someday still going forward. Death burns his heal to try and escape, but it's no use because he doesn't have flash. Riven has like 10 gap closers. Acorn right now is in the back of the blue buff looking to position himself to get the flash over and start trying to get his AoE damage off for the Samsung Blue, so that Samsung Blue can possibly turn this fight, because right now they dealt a pretty nice chunk of AoE damage. So as we let this fight continue, Someday kills Deft with his Wind Slash. Heart is chunked because of the armor penetration, and the Wind Slash deals more damage as you're lower. So I think we're over here actually. Yep, we're over here. So Deft is gonna walk up over here trying to get the maximum damage from his AoE passive. Someday gets cocooned, like I said, by Spirit, who had walked up from the bottom of this fight. Acorn is walking back and forth in his blue buff pit, and he's not really doing much. And Dade kind of burned his cooldown rotation, so he's just waiting for his chance to go in. So as we let this fight continue on, there we go. Acorn flashes into the middle. He's getting into the mix. You can see Deft's passive walking up, and Kakao is sped up. He's going to get Zillion ulted eventually when he starts to dive in deeper. Rookie gets a Q onto Spirit, and it's not going to matter much because Spirit is pretty tanky at this point. Dade is back here, just trying to look for his chance to jump onto Arrow. So the fight keeps rolling on, and bam. This is really, really good by KT, or not by KT, but by Samsung actually. So Dade jumps in. The purple right here, I circled the explosion radius of Death's ultimate, and look how low Hachani goes. He doesn't even get the chance to ult himself because he ults Kakao. And Hachani, when Mundo jumped in, got an ignite on Mundo, so his ultimate is not healing him for anything. So Mundo is really, really squishy, and Kakao's getting isolated damage onto the Mundo. Some days also hitting Mundo and applying Black Cleaver stacks. So Hachani's going to flash this way to try and avoid Dade killing him, and Dade's going to realize that, and he's going to get a chunk onto Rookie and Arrow, and he's going to ignite Arrow, and Arrow's going to Valk backwards. But Rookie and Arrow are going to be hitting Dade, and Dade's going to end up zoning. So get this fight going on. So Dade goes in, Hachani flashes out, Acorn's about to die, he has the ignite on him. There's no way Acorn can tank all that damage because he kind of had to split his armor, or his tanking, into armor and magic resist. Dade goes in, he Zonias. Do I have that? Yep, he's basically, this is like 2 seconds after. So Dade Zonias, Hachani's going to keep walking this way. Dade's going to wait for the Zonias to dissipate, and he's going to flash ultimate over here. Rookie and Arrow are focusing Dade, and they're waiting for him to, like, his Zonias to finish. Someday and Kakao jump forward this way with their gap closers, and they're waiting on Dade, and Someday's going to stack his broken wings twice, and then he's going to wait for the third time right as soon as Dade comes out of his Zonias. But it's not going to be that good because Dade's going to flash out, and he's going to ult, and he's going to end up over here in the mid lane with the rest of his team. So we're going to let the fight roll out. Dade Zonias is going on. Arrow turns back around. Dade flashes out. They try to go back in, but it's too late. Dade, Spirit, and Heart are safe, and the fight ends with KT Arrow's 2 chunk to get the Baron, and Samsung Blue goes up, gets Baron control, and they bait it and finish the game off. pretty not they don't finish the game off this fight, but they start closing out the lead. Anyways, thanks for watching.